I love the patience of Lord Buddha that Tulananda has not been kicked out. Welcome back. This is Buddhist Books Podcast, episode 186. Tipiṭaka, part 115. Bhikkhunivibhaṅga, Pācittiya, 28, 29, and 30. Hope everyone's doing well. If this is the first time you've ever seen me, you may wish to click here and start at the very beginning of the Tipiṭaka, where I'll explain at the beginning what the Tipiṭaka is, kind of, and how it fits into the grand tapestry of the various forms of Buddhism. To sum up, it's the earliest one. On the other hand, Bhikkhunivibhaṅga is the rules for nuns, specifically. So if you would like to start at the beginning of the rules for nuns, then click right here. That's for the people on YouTube. If you're seeing my face and watching me on YouTube, then that's for you. I have not forgotten you listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or indeed any of the various podcasting platforms. Hello? You're not seeing me, but you're hearing me. You might be seeing me if you're on Spotify. The video version goes up a while after. It's kind of buggy. If I try to upload the video from here with my internet connection in rural South Goa, it doesn't work. So I usually take the opportunity to do that when I'm near a Wi-Fi connection in North Goa. So sometimes it takes a month for the video version to appear. You're not interested in all this. That's for Spotify. Shall I go ahead and get to the reading? Any thoughts about... I think there were one or two thoughts I had from the last couple of episodes, but I've forgotten what they are, so I'll review those and let you know if those come to mind next time. Some nice bird sounds today. All right. Okay, I'll go ahead and get to the reading. We're going to finish this section today. Expiation, Pācittiya, 28. At one time, the Enlightened One, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove, in Anathapindika's monastery. Now, at that time, the nun Tulananda gave recluses robe material to players and dancers, and to female tumblers, and to female conjurers, and to drummers, saying, quote, "Do praise me in public," end quote. I love the patience of Lord Buddha that Tulananda has not been kicked out. And when she gets up to these shenanigans, he's like, okay, since this has never come up before, let's be clear that what you're doing is not okay. It's this level of wrongdoing. You know, it's nice. It's nice. Because some of these things are ridiculous. So she's giving monks' robes. She's giving nuns' robes. Robes intended for ordained, monks or nuns in Lord Buddha's original order while Lord Buddha is still alive. And she's giving them to performers, saying, praise me in public. All right? Okay. Let's keep reading. The players and the dancers and the tumblers and the conjurers and the drummers praised the nun Tulananda in public, saying, quote, "The lady Tulananda is very learned. She is a repeater. She is wise. She is skilled in giving talk on Dhamma. Give for the lady. Make for the lady," end quote. Those who were modest nuns, three dots, spread it about, saying, quote, how can the Lady Tulananda give recluses robe material to a householder? And, quote, three dots, quote, is it true, as is said, monks, that the nun Tulananda gave recluses robe material to a householder? End quote, quote, it is true, Lord, end quote. The enlightened one, the Lord, rebuked them, saying, quote, how, monks, can the nun Tulananda give recluses robe material to a householder? It is not, monks, for pleasing those who are not, parentheses yet, end parentheses pleased, three dots, this rule of trading. Whatever nun should give recluses robe material to a householder or to a wanderer or to a female wanderer, there is an offense of expiation. End quote. I recite aloud while wearing robe material and being a householder. I'll explain a little. Yeah, this was 2,600 years ago. So back then you were either a recluse or not a recluse. You were either in the caste system, serving a function in society in that context, or you exited the caste system and became a sannyasin and an ascetic, and you were on a shramana path. A bunch of Sanskrit I'm throwing at you. Where, things changed over time. And as mentioned before, as we're going to read the Tipiṭaka, which is the ancient scriptures, and then on this second shelf, we'll get into a bit of Mahayana. That's behind me, right? And that's early Mahayana, and then the commentaries of Buddhaghosa and other Burmese 6th century scholar monks of the Theravada tradition, codifying what we now call Theravada, where this would be more specifically pre-sectarian early Buddhism. And then down on the bottom shelf, we'll get to later Mahayana and Vajrayana. That's down here on the third shelf. And that's the point where you start to find the Nyingma tradition of Padmasambhava and Yeshe Tsogyal, which is where the Ngakpas and the non-monastic monks and this kind of thing start to enter into the picture. And that's where this robe enters into the picture. And if you've read the footnote, if you've read the fine print on either my website or any of these YouTube videos, you know that I am not actually an ordained Ngakpa, but received this robe in Paro when I was in Bhutan after visiting the Nyingma monastery and becoming very inspired after touching through cloth the breastplate of Padmasambhava. Plus, well, okay, I've talked about all this before. I'm not going to go into it again. Then we have the beginnings of Chan and later Japanese Zen. And then finally, this very last book is a book written by my dad's guru. So see, it comes full circle. And then that's where he got his stuff that he gave to me when I was a baby. And then I eventually grew up and started at the beginning to fill in the gaps. So that's what's happening here. So yeah, no, it's just interesting to be reading, thou shalt not give monk's robe to a householder. Yeah, I'm a householder with a monk's robe. Sorry. Okay, anyway, whatever means three dots. Nun means three dots. Householder means he who inhabits a house. Or an apartment, a flat, as they say. Wanderer means, excluding monk and novice, he who has reached, parentheses, the stage of a, end parentheses, wanderer. Female wanderer means, excluding nun and probationer and female novice, she who has reached, parentheses, the stage of a, end parentheses, female wanderer. Recluse's robe material means, it is called made allowable. Is it? Does that make sense? Is that a sentence? If she gives, sorry, got the Indian Army flying overhead here. doing a bit of noise polluting. That's fun, right? I'm not sure what they're doing, practicing, right? If she gives, there is an offense of expiation, right? There is no offense if she gives to, parentheses, her and parentheses, parents. Really now? A nun can give robe material to her parents. That's interesting. That's, okay, file that into things I didn't know before about pre-sectarian early Buddhism. If she gives for the time being, well, presumably that's what she did with the performers. So if you loan robe material to stage performers and have them perform publicly praising your name, that's not covered in this. Okay, yeah. Sometimes the story doesn't match up exactly with the rule that ends up being established in the story. Anyway, if she is mad, of course, you can basically do anything. If she is the first wrongdoer, which in this case is Tulananda. Tulananda is the first person to do this particular wrongdoing. I think that's what that means. For like a long time, I thought the first wrongdoer meant that you've never done a wrongdoing before. But I don't think that's what that means. Comment below if you have insight about that. Okay, we'll move along. Expiation, Pācittiya 29. At one time, the Enlightened One, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now at that time, the family who supported the nun Tulananda spoke thus to the nun Tulananda, quote, "If we, lady, are able, we will give robe material for the order of nuns," end quote. Now at that time, nuns, having kept the rains retreat, collected together wishing to distribute robe material. The nun Tulananda spoke thus to these nuns, quote, "Wait, ladies, there is for the order of nuns an expectation of robe material," end quote. The nuns spoke thus to the nun Tulananda, quote, "Do go, lady, and find out about this robe material," end quote. The nun Tulananda approached that family. Having approached, she spoke thus to the people, quote, "Sirs, do give robe material for the order of nuns," end quote. They said, quote, "Lady, we are not able to give robe material for the order of nuns," end quote. The nun Tulananda told this matter to the nuns. Those who were modest nuns, three dots spread it about, saying, quote, "How can the lady Tulananda, with an expectation of robe material, when an expectation of robe material is not sure, let the robe season pass," end quote, three dots. Quote, "Is it true, as is said, monks, that the nun Tulananda, three dots, let the robe season pass," end quote. Quote, "It is true, Lord," end quote. The Enlightened One, the Lord, rebuked them, saying, quote, "How, monks, can the nun Tulananda, three dots, let the robe season pass? It is not, monks, for pleasing those who are not, parentheses, yet, end parentheses, pleased, three dots, this rule of training. Whatever nun, when an expectation of robe material is not sure, should let the robe season pass, there is an offense of expiation," end quote. Whatever means three dots, nun means three dots. When an expectation of robe material is not sure means, if they say, quote, "If we are able, we will give, we will make," end quote, parentheses, but their, end parentheses, word becomes broken. If they said, "If we can, we'll give it," and then they can't, they didn't break their word. Sorry to nitpick, but maybe 6th century BC Bihar has a different definition of giving their word, right? Say, yeah, I'll come to your party if I can make it. I might not be able to make it. Are you coming to my party? No, I couldn't make it. You've broken your word, right? That's not the case. Okay, sorry. Continue. Robe season means the last month of the rainy season, when the katina cloth is not parentheses formally end parentheses made. The 5 months when it is parentheses formally end parentheses made. Should let the robe season pass means if she lets pass the last day of the rainy season when the katina cloth is not parentheses formally end parentheses made, there is an offense of expiation. If she lets the day pass for removing the katina parentheses privileges end parentheses, there is an offense of expiation. If she thinks that the robe material is not sure when it is not sure, parentheses and end parentheses, lets the robe season pass, there is an offense of expiation. If she is in doubt as to whether the robe material is not sure, 3 dots, offense of wrongdoing. If she thinks that the robe material is sure when it is not sure, 3 dots, no offense. All right. So if they actually did say, yeah, we're definitely bringing robe material, count on it. We've got it already. My friend Bob is bringing it from Savatthi, right? Or whatever. I don't know. You can count on us. And then she says, all right, don't distribute the robe material because I've got robe material coming. And then they're like, oh, sister, we screwed up. Bob died. The robe material fell in the river and got washed away. No offense. No offense. It's when they actually say, we'll try to bring robe material. And she's like, I think they're going to bring robe material. Yes. And tells them they'll definitely. Right? Common sense stuff. Okay. If she thinks that the robe material is not sure when it is sure, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If she is in doubt as to whether the robe material is sure, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If she thinks that the robe material is sure when it is sure, there is no offense. There is no offense if he hinders, having pointed out an advantage. If she hinders, having pointed out an advantage, if she is mad, if she is the first wrongdoer. Okay, cool. Expiation, Pācittiya 30. At one time, the enlightened one, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now at that time, a dwelling place had been erected by a certain lay follower for the order. He, at the festival for this dwelling place, was desirous of giving robe material at the wrong time for both the orders. Now at that time, the katina cloth for both the orders was parentheses formally end parentheses made. Then that lay follower, having approached the order, asked for the removal of the katina, parentheses privileges, end parentheses. They told this matter to the Lord. Then the Lord, on this occasion, in this connection, having given reason talk, addressed the monks, saying, quote, I allow you, monks, to remove the katina, parentheses, privileges, end parentheses. They explained this whole katina privileges thing in the Rules for Monks, and I read that like a year ago, and I'm a little fuzzy on it right now, but we'll keep reading. And thus, monks, should the katina, parentheses, privileges, end parentheses, be removed, the order should be informed by an experienced, competent monk, saying, quote within quotes, honored sirs, let the order listen to me. If it seems right to the order, let the order remove the katina, parentheses, privileges, end parentheses. This is the motion. Honored sirs, let the order listen to me. The order removes the katina, parentheses, privileges, end parentheses. If the removal of the katina, parentheses, privileges, end parentheses is pleasing to the venerable ones, let them be silent. If it is not pleasing, they should speak. The katina parentheses, privileges, end parentheses are removed by the order, and it is right. 3 dots. So do I understand this, end quote within quotes, end quote. I think this would have made more sense if not adding the English word privileges in parentheses, because that was not in the original Pali. If the removal of the katina is pleasing. So, okay, the katina is a thing. Katina privileges is like, what? Then that lay follower, having approached the order of nuns, asked for the removal of the katina, parentheses, privileges, end parentheses, the nun Tulananda, thinking, quote, there will be robe material for us, end quote, held back the removal of the katina, parentheses, privileges, end parentheses. Then that lay follower, 3 dots, spread it about, saying, quote, how can these nuns not give a removal of the katina, parentheses, privileges, end parentheses, for us, end quote. Nuns heard that lay follower who, 3 dots, spread it about. Those who were modest nuns, 3 dots, spread it about, saying, quote, how can the nun Tulananda hold back a legally valid removal of the katina, parentheses, privileges, end parentheses, end quote, 3 dots. Okay, so katina is the month where you cannot receive. There's the katina cloth. There's something about the katina. Oh man, I'm going to have to review all these rules. I'm like lost a little bit. Not really sure what's going on here, but I kind of get that during the katina month, the last month of the rains, they're not supposed to receive robe material, and unless there's an exception made. All right. Okay. Is it true, as is said, monks, that the nun Tulananda held back a legally valid removal of the katina, parentheses, privileges, end parentheses, end quote? Quote, it is true, Lord, end quote. 3 dots, parentheses, XXVIII, comma 1, end parentheses, translating. Miss Horner didn't feel like doing her job that day. Quote, 3 dots, this rule of training, whatever nun should hold back a legally valid removal of the katina, parentheses, privileges, end parentheses, there is an offense of expiation, end quote. It seems to me that if you're translating something, it's like easier to just translate it rather than like finding the thing that, oh, this was mentioned 74 pages ago, so I'll just write C 74 pages ago for the translation. Just, you know what it says, just write the translation. Why are you making us goose chase? Anyway. All right. Yes, whatever means 3 dots, none means 3 dots. Legally valid removal of the katina, parentheses, privileges means, maybe they'll explain. A complete order of nuns having collected together remove them. No, they're not going to explain. Should hold back means if saying, quote, how can this katina, parentheses, privilege, and parentheses be removed, end quote, she holds back, there is an offensive expiation. If she thinks that it is legally valid when it is legally valid, parentheses, and parentheses, holds it back, 3 dots, parentheses, CXXVIII, comma 2, and parentheses, 3 dots, if she is the first wrongdoer. The third division, that on being naked, because you remember 10 rules ago, Lord Buddha said, don't bathe naked. So this is sort of like when you want to exercise your legs, and you put like weights on your legs, strap on some heavy weights, and then you lift your legs. So the goal here is like serenity, peace, tranquility, transcendence. And so we read the Pali Text Society translation of ancient scriptures, and that gives us that extra bit of challenge. Because, they could have just told us what the scriptures say, and then we could read the scriptures and know what they say. But instead of that, they do their thing. All right, so that's the reading for today. I hope everybody's doing well. And next time we'll see what the third division, right? Is that right? Yeah, the first division started with 1, so the third division is going to start with... Oh no, that was the third division. Okay, so 1 through 10 was the first division. 11 through 20 was the second division. 21 through 30 was the third division. So we will begin the fourth division, the fourth set of 10 Pācittiya rules of the Bhikkhunivibhaṅga. We'll begin that in the next episode, episode 187. I'll go ahead and close with the usual closing. All right. Shake it off. Shake it off. All right. To the north and to the south, to the east and to the west, to the spirits of light among us, and to the spirits below, we send out our reverent love and compassion. May all beings be happy. May all beings be serene. May all beings be in peace. Oh.